Hello everyone. Today in this session we are going to study the female reproductive part of flower, that is gynoecium. The gynoecium, if the gynoecium having only one pistil or it is made of one pistil, it is known as monocarpellary. If the gynoecium is made of many pistil, it is known as multicarpellary. The multicarpellary gynoecium or multicarpellary pistils, if those pistils are free in nature, if one pistil, one more pistil do not fused with one another, if they are free means that type is known as apocarpus. If the pistil is fused, that pistil is known as, or that type of gynoecium is known as syncarpus. As you know, the gynoecium or the pistil having three parts, the stigma, style and ovary. The uppermost part of the gynoecium is stigma, which is little bit swollen in size, and following to the stigma is the platform for the pollen grain. The pollen grain sits on the stigma where it penetrates or it produces pollen tube through the stigma and reaches to the female gametophyte. And now after the stigma we can see here a long slender stalk like structure. It is nothing but style. Next, the basal part of the gynoecium is, it is little bit bulged and it is known as ovary. The ovary is having an ovarian locule, and this ovary in some species of flowering plants maybe one ovule are present or many ovules will be present. Depending on the species, the ovules varies. After this we will study, so this is all you know, you have studied in the class 11. So now our concept is we are going to study the internal part of the ovary or internal part of the ovule. What is there in the ovule, where will be the female gametophyte is present, we will see. We are at the swollen part of the gynoecium, that is, it is an ovary. So our concept is, we are going to study the structure of megasporangium, or it is known as ovule, where it will be, the ovule will be in the ovary, or it is also known as megasporangium. So by taking one ovule, only one ovule I am explaining you, many ovules will be there in many species, one ovule is more than enough to explain. So think this is an ovary or ovarian wall, a locule. Here a tissue cushion like structure or tissues are present. From there the ovule arises. Okay, so this is not the structure, little bit later I will explain you. So this is the ovule. So ovule, how it will be, it get connected to a cushion like structure, that cushion like structure or tissue is known as placenta. Now we are going to study how the actual structure of, how it will be the structure of ovule. Think, I will rewrite once again, only a part of the ovary I am taking here. So ovary wall I am taking and a cushion like structure or the placenta I am drawing here. The ovule is connected by a stalk and it followed by a body. So what I am explaining you, what I am drawing here, I am drawing the structure of ovule. Earlier I said it will be like this, connected to the placenta, but actual structure of ovule will be like this. Maximum of the angiospermic plants, angiosperms, will be having this type of ovule. What type of ovule? Anatropous type of ovule. Anatropous. What is that anatropous ovule? Here I am drawing this anatropous type of ovule. The anatropous type of ovule or the anatropous is nothing but upside down. The ovule is here, this is the ovary. The upper part will be here, but the ovule is upside down. The mouth or the head, the mouth of the ovule will be here. That's why it is known as anatropous ovule. This is the stalk of the ovule. That stalk is nothing but, or it is known as funicle. Funicle. And this is the body. This body is protected by two layers. That layers are, it will be an outer layer and an inner layer. But scientifically we should not take layer. It has one specific name. That name is nothing but integument. Outer integument, inner integument. Outer integument, inner integument. So the ovule is protected or covered by two layers, outer and inner integument. Maximum of the angiospermic plants will be having this type of ovule. So in this ovule there are two integuments, that's why it is known as bitegmic. And the origination of the integument is known as, or this part is known as chalaza. So this part is known as chalaza. And here a small aperture is present, a mouth is present or small opening is present. That opening is known as, or this way we can call it as, or this side is known as micropyle. Now it is filled by a mass of cells. So we are talking about the actual part of the flower, the female gametophyte or the ovule actual part will be here. What actually it is? It is a mass of cells known as nucellus. It is not nucleus, it is nucellus. The cells will be arranged like this. Now we are having the nucellus protected by two integuments, inner and outer, having a small opening, that is micropyle, and the origination of the integument, this part is known as chalaza, and this ovule is having a stalk, a slender stalk, it is known as funicle. Here a point, here is a point or area where funicle and body, they both get connected. So this area is known as, they both joined with one another. That area or that point or that part is known as hilum. So we got all the labelings of the anatropous ovule now. The stalk of the ovule is known as funicle. The point, the area of the ovule where the stalk and body get connected, that is known as hilum. And the body is protected by two layers, outer and inner integuments, and in the central position it is having a mass of cells, it is known as nucellus. Now, so this is the micropylar end. After this, what will happen? Where is the female gametophyte? We can't see any female gametophyte where the pollen grain come and contact, where the pollen grain, the male gametophyte will come and contact. Where is the actual position? So to understand that, we'll see one more structure. So here we are having an anatropous ovule. Only I will take one cell of the nucellus. Think this is one cell of the nucellus which is nearer to the micropylar end. So this is micropylar end or micropyle, and this is chalazal end or chalaza, and you know these are the outer and inner integument stalk of the ovule and so on. So this is one cell which is nearer to the micropyle. It get bigger in size. It converts to megaspore, or it become megaspore mother cell. The ploidy of this megaspore mother cell is 2n. It means it is a diploid cell. So my concept is I am going to describe you the female gametophyte. I am going to explain you the steps how the female gametophyte forms. So the cell which is nearer to the micropylar end, it becomes bigger and it forms or it attains or it become megaspore mother cell. This megaspore mother cell undergoes one meiotic division. One meiotic division results in the formation of 4 haploid cells. N means haploid condition. One cell, one more, third one, fourth one. From where it is coming? It is coming from the megaspore mother cell. Through the meiotic division. The process is known as megasporogenesis. The megasporogenesis, the process of formation of megaspore from the megaspore mother cell through meiotic division. So we are having here the megaspores, 4 megaspore. All the megaspore do not develop further, only this cell. This cell which is nearer to the or which is nearer to the micropylar end, only this cell will remain functional. All these 3 become disintegrate, or it will vanish off. Only it remains as it is. This is known as a megaspore having haploid cell or condition. So this is the which end it is? Micropylar end, and this is the chalazal end. So let me tell you one technique here, one logic here. Actually, which 3 cells get disintegrate? To understand better, the cells nearer to the chalazal end, they only get disintegrate. Only the micropylar end cell will remain as it is, and this cell is known as functional cell. Now, this functional cell, I will write here. Only this is now, you have to call this as the megaspore haploid cell having single number of chromosome, half of the chromosome. Now this megaspore, what will happen next? The megaspore, in the megaspore, the mitotic division takes place. Mitotic division means, so the meiotic division is over now. Half of the chromosomes we have in the megaspore. Only to develop next, to develop further, it should undergo some divisions. That division is nothing but, that division is known as mitotic division. How many mitotic division takes place in the megaspore? There are 3. There are 3 mitotic division occurs in the megaspore. So as I told you, the megaspore, it undergoes 3 mitotic divisions. 3 mitotic divisions means, just think, here we are having 1 megaspore. If the karyokinesis occur in the megaspore, it results in the formation of 2 nucleus. This will be the 1 mitotic division. Now, this cell, this megaspore having 2 nucleus, only karyokinesis has taken place. This nucleus undergoes again the second mitotic division, results in the formation of, this will give rise to 2 nucleus, this nucleus give rise to 2 more nucleus. How many nucleus we are having here? Here we are having 4 nucleus at the end of the second mitotic division. And at the third mitotic division, each nucleus give rise to 2 more nucleus. So, it become 8 now. 1 nucleus give rise to 2 nucleus, and 1 nucleus it give rise to 2 nucleuses. 1 nucleus as it flows, as it goes on. So, at the end of the third mitotic division, we are having 8 nucleate of the megaspore. The same diagram I am writing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So, this is the resultant product of 3 mitotic division which occurs in the megaspore. Remember, only karyokinesis will form, not the cytokinesis. Now, don't forget to write the ends of the megaspore. This is the chalazal end and this is the micropylar end. The 3 nucleases, these 3 and these 3, they travel or they move to the chalazal end. These 3 nucleases move to the micropylar end. How it will be? It looks like this. And 2 more, the 2 remains there in the same place. So, are you following me? So, this is the chalazal end, micropylar end. The 3 nucleases travel to the chalazal end, 3 nucleases travel to the micropylar end. The structure will be like this. Now, megaspore, it means it will be having cytoplasm, everything it will be there. After the third mitotic division, what I said you, the karyokinesis, this is the end of the karyokinesis. At this stage, when the nucleus travels to the chalazal end and micropylar end, the cell wall forms. Cell wall means cytokinesis occurs. This is how the cytokinesis occurs only to these nucleases, not to this. Okay. So, now the cell wall, here we are having one cell, one more, and here also one complete cell we are having. So, now I will label this structure, the cells which is present near to the chalazal end. These 3 cells are known as antipodex, and the 2 nucleuses without cell wall, it will be remain in the same position. These 2 nucleus are known as polar nuclei. Though it is 2 in number, we have to write in a plural form. And concentrate here. This end is known as micropylar end. These 2, the side by side I am writing here, no. These 2 cells are known as synergids In the book they have given like this. So these two cells are known as synergids and one cell is an egg cell. So this is the female gametophyte or embryo sac. Now, so this is the synergids. Here a special structure is present near to the synergid cell. Let me draw that also. A special apparatus, you can call it as. It will be there in the synergids. So these are the synergids. At the end of the synergids, a finger-like projections, you can call it as. This special part is known as filiform apparatus or filiform apparatus, you have to call that. What is the function of filiform apparatus? This filiform apparatus, it will guide to the pollen grain or to the male gamete to travel or to enter inside the embryo sac, and it will help to fuse with the, or it will guide to enter inside the embryo sac. Now we are having one more structure here. Earlier it was, I have drawn, no, that one is the anatropous foveole. So the anatropous foveole, one of the cell of the nucellus, that will become bigger. It forms megaspore mother cell. The megaspore mother cell undergoes meiotic division. After the meiotic division, 4 haploid cells will form. Only one cell it will become, or it undergoes 3 mitotic divisions. That the resultant product of the 3 mitotic division will be, or we can call it as embryo sac. Yes, this is the structure of embryo sac. This structure. Now, the pollen grain, the whole pollen grain do not enter inside the ovary. Only the pollen tube having male gametes enter inside the ovary through this synergids or through this filiform apparatus or the synergids. It will enter inside the embryo sac and fertilization takes place. That we'll study little bit later. In the next session we'll understand that. So this is, you have to understand that today's concept is, today's important concept is, we understood the structure of megasporangium, we understood the structure of embryo sac, or it is also known as female gametophyte. So this is 5-mark question. With description they'll ask. The important thing is you have to count the number of nucleus present in the embryo sac. So I'll count now. 1 nucleus, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8. I'll write here 8 nucleated, and now I'll count the cells present in the embryo sac. This is 1 cell, second one, third one, fourth, fifth, sixth and seventh. So 7 celled, 8 nucleated embryo sac. So that is the description of embryo sac. One more thing to tell, the maximum of the angiospermic species, they produces monospermic embryo sac or monospermic. It will be monospermic. Why it is monospermic? Because the embryo sac develops from the single megaspore. That's why we are going to call this as monospermic.